For a very special reason, Nate Archer.
Best week of the year, team. Happy National Science Week. We're starting your week right with Tanya, Director of Engagement with Science in Public, who joins me now in the studio. Tanya, look, Michael's right. I'm very excited. You're excited.
Oh, yeah.
You've been involved.
Red cordial week.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for us science communicators, right?
Yes.
You've been involved with National Science Week for a heck of a lot longer than I have. Tell me about it. Why is it so exciting for you?
Well, it's because, I've been a science journalist and environmentalist for many years. Used to be a reporter for Catalyst on ABC. And you meet these amazing people when you're reporting on people who are doing discoveries that affect our lives and are just doing really fascinating stuff. But we don't get to see scientists at work. We know what a doctor does because we go and see a doctor. We know what a teacher does because we go to school. We know what TV presenters are because we see them on television, but we don't actually get to see scientists at work. And so things like National Science Week are an opportunity to sort of demystify science and to see the scientists at work, to meet them, to hear them discuss really interesting topics and do some fun stuff as well. A bit of slime involved never hurts.
No, there is nothing wrong with slime ever. Do you know, I still remember the time when I was still at school, but I got to go to a university and see a scientist in front of my eyes evaporate gold and have it condense onto a glass plate, just a couple of atoms thick. And did you know that gold transmits blue light? If you get it really thin enough and you hold it up to light, you get blue light coming through.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Now, National Science Week, it's important all the time, especially because it is largely involving kids. But for Australians, science has a special place, and we're for the first time starting to measure how that's changing. Right?
Yes, yeah, and it's really interesting because we say we're interested in science, but are we really? And there's been a new survey that's been released. So 3M do State of the Science Index each year. They've done it globally for many years, and last year was the first year they actually got an Australian data set. So they asked people, what are your attitudes? What do you think of science and scientists? And, I'm pleased to report that 88% of Australians report that they value science and scientists, and half of Australians report that they believe that science is really important in their day-to-day lives, and 78% of people want to see, want to understand more about what scientists do and meet them. So, National Science Week is your opportunity. So that's something that's really comforting. But it does come against this backdrop of sort of misinformation. We did see with the global data set, the pandemic did show kind of a bit of a 5 to 10% leap in trust in science and scientists, because we got to see science happening in real time, like the development of vaccines. But people also report being concerned about misinformation and anti-science, sometimes in mainstream media, but particularly in social media.
Social media and stuff that's online is often a concern, and rightly so, right? Because you need to pick your sources carefully. But the online world has done some amazing things for National Science Week, because all of a sudden people can access science things during the week more than ever before. What are some of the things you're excited about for this National Science Week?
And that's the thing, is because this is a national audience, I couldn't very well just say, come to Melbourne and see Swarm at Science Gallery Melbourne. But fortunately, and this again, it's another pandemic sort of positive silver lining, is that a lot of Science Week events became more accessible, shifted online, and as in-person events have come back, they've started to keep a few online events. So a medical science one that I'm going to be behind the scenes doing tech for is one it's called Future Medicine Healing the Heart. And it's looking at how stem cell science is developing potential treatments for maybe heart attacks, so that we might have better recovery from heart attacks. And, coronary heart disease is, traditionally, it's been Australia's biggest killer in recent times. COVID might have eclipsed that, but hopefully if we go to, pre-pandemic times again, then we still have to address heart complaints. But there's also children who are born with congenital heart defects. And then there are other stem cell scientists that are working on producing tissue from stem cells that might be able to be like patches that give extra pumping power to hearts, you know, that aren't quite as strong as they traditionally are. So that's one. The other is, wildlife. You know, we just saw that the red panda was rescued. That's great.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, I was worried about him, but it was just a bit of a fig feast.
Yes.
But yeah.
I can relate. I can understand that. But there's Caring for the Rare is one that is, it's being broadcast out of Victoria from Parliament House, Victoria. But that has a whole lot of the scientists that aren't actually in universities. They're in the zoos. They're in Royal Botanic Gardens. You know, they're in government institutions, and they're doing a whole lot of work on how do we save endangered species. So things like mountain pygmy possum, different kinds of bandicoots. They've also got a seed-saving initiative as well. And so there's some really valuable and important and heartwarming stories that come out of those scientists. So Marissa Parrott from Zoos Victoria is one of my favourite ones. She's going to be one of the speakers at this event, which is online this Sunday.
Brilliant.
And it's when you can hear a lot of bad news. I imagine, especially working in news and television, you can hear that. But when you see these scientists doing such great work, it really restores your faith in humanity.
It certainly does. And you know, the ABC, you can choose Australia's favourite tree online as well. So it doesn't matter where you are. You just need to get to the National Science Week website, right? And you can find events near you. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us, and especially in your fabulous National Science. Actually, I've got mine on too because, like, you need to wear your National Science Week T-shirt when you're doing. Excuse my microphone. National Science Week, yeah.
Striptease.
I'm going to enjoy my National Science Week coffee and my National Science Week cup. Thank you, Tanya, for joining us this morning. And happy National Science Week.
You too.
And same to you as well, team. Enjoy.
Apparently it's National Science Week, Nor.
Oh, I hadn't heard.